I'm still going to use this broom on Mama Monica because I don't know why. I am so pissed, so angry. How can you have 3 children and then you pick one to be the sacrifice for every other member of the family? For yourself, your husband, 2 of your children, and the wife. Why am I calling her a wife? And the girl. Hi guys, so my name is Essay and I just saw the movie Monica Part 2 and I thought to give my candid review because when I saw this movie with my family, I kept going on and on and on about what I think about the movie and they were like, we're not your audience. Go online and let the producers know what you have to say. Now, if you have not seen the movie Monica Part 2, come close. And if you have seen it and you have a lot of opinion about that movie, come even closer because today we're going to be giving awards to every cast member of this movie, Monica Part 2. I'll start with Monica's mother because tell me, like the question Chika asks, like, are you sure this girl is even your daughter? Because how can you have 3 children and then you pick one to be the sacrifice for every other member of the family? For yourself, your husband, 2 of your children, and the wife. Why am I calling her a wife? And the girl that Bobo brought home that had a baby. Like, who does that? So the first award I'm going to be giving goes to Monica's mother, known as Mama Monica. This is your award. Because only a broom is used to chase out witchcraft from a person. We need to use this on you because how can someone be so wicked, so heartless, so mean that they did all they could, extorted, manipulated, used their daughter from when she was as young as 13. That was when they started showing us the movie. That was when the movie started. From 13, even up to when she was 36, you chased her out of the house with you choking her with a lot of responsibilities and you keep speaking down on her spirit. So this movie, I watched it from different angles. I watched it from a spiritual angle. I got a lot of lessons from this movie because the spiritual angle is um um Monica lived with these people for 36 years and she barely had anything that she could call her own or she barely had anything that she could say, oh, this and this and these were the things I've been able to achieve. Just when she would draw close to a miracle in her life, there would always be something that would stoop on it, coming exactly from her mother. I'm still going to use this broom on Mama Monica because I don't know why. I am so pissed, so angry that I know I've heard a lot of stories about Nigerian parents extorting and maybe putting a lot more responsibility. Let me make it a little bit soft. Okay, I've heard a lot of stories about the Nigerian family setup where you have the parents put a lot of responsibilities on the firstborn. Probably they're not doing so well, and then you train the first child, and then you expect the child to probably go to school, come back, and then try and lift the other younger siblings up. I've heard a lot of scenarios. I am not saying that is right, but in this particular movie, I think this is too much. This is extreme because at some point we were talking about it at home and we're like, I'm waiting for the point where the woman can say, I didn't give birth to this girl, oh, because that's the only excuse for why you would treat a child that way. You made her hawk Akamu, which we know as pap. You made her hawk pap while she was a teenager. I expected that, okay, in as much as she's contributing to the well-being of the house, probably when the younger siblings get to that same age, maybe they could join in the family business or possibly just do something like, and tell me, why is she selling pap for that long? Why has she not thought of packaging the pap and doing something better or getting money from the pap or something and then expanding her business? She has been selling pap for till when Monica was 40. She kept selling pap. Who does that? And then you sold pap to the extent that it was just Monica. Monica would hawk pap even till when she was a grown woman. And then still go learn tailoring. Trust me, she thought she was doing Monica by sending her to fashion school. Not really fashion school. Let's sending her to that woman to learn tailoring. But I think that was the part God actually used in elevating Monica, because if she didn't have that skill, I'm not sure this other part of her story that was written wouldn't have been written. So The siblings, I don't know, I'm spilling into part one because there is no way I can tell part two without telling part one. Because why will these children, Monica would go to work, bring the money she gets from work, send everything to you. At every point, she was about to have a breakthrough, from Pascal giving her money for a sewing machine, from to Pascal wanting to take her, marrying her and taking her abroad, to everything. And then it got to the part where the only good thing that she could have to her name was the shop her madam handed over to her, or she inherited from her madam while her madam was going abroad to Canada. And then we were so happy that the movie was ending, and then the part two was going to begin with her going to Canada, and then there would be karma, and then the parents are going to have, the family is going to have a little tiny dose of their medicine. And then we realized that it was a dream. First, I was going to be mad, but I thought about it. Okay, let's see where this was going. And then I'm going to still bring, because sorry if I have to bring a lot of spiritual angle to this, but I have to. It brings to light that when you have a lot of when you have dreams and it's seeming like your life doesn't look like your dream, I want you to at that point trust God, because myself and my husband were talking about it, that most times when God gives us a dream, it might not actually play out as we dreamed it to be or as we envisaged it. Because if you realize, every part of her dream came to pass. She went abroad, which she did. Might not have been Canada, but she went to Paris. She went abroad. She went to fashion school, got better, her life got better. So trust me, that was it. And then we were so mad that Pascal left for her younger sister. Keep it at home. Okay. Pascal left her for her younger sister. Now, we were so pissed, and at some point, we were wishing that Pascal would change his mind and possibly not go on with the wedding and eventually marry Monica. But look at the end. God sees the end from the beginning. Possibly by the end of this part two, she would have been a widow. But God took her from what seemed to be a mountain to her valley, because at that moment God needed to save her and hide her and shield her from that part, that marriage, which would have ruined her life. Now her sister rushed into it. Gave me a typical example of Abraham and Lot. Lot chose what looked good, and Abraham was left with no choice but to take what was left, and what was left seemed to have been the best. And then we see that Lot went to Sodom and Gomorrah, and we realized what happened to the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, and that entire land was destroyed. And then we realized that Abraham, which was left with what could have been leftovers, ended up having the greater blessing. So the same thing applies to Monica and Chika, her younger sister, because I really don't know what to say about Chika, because a child that will take care of their parents, a child that will be what he or she would be, you would see it from while they were growing up, from when they were growing up. If you see a child that will be very stingy and selfish, you would see it from when they are very little. So Chika's mother never condemned her when she brought an iPhone 17 Pro Max to the house. There was cement, the house needed to be patched, the roof was leaking, a lot of things needed to be done. Chika could have gotten something lesser and used the money, part of the money, to fix the house. Then we would have known if Chika had any good in her. Trust me, Chika had no good in her. So tell me why the mother is pissed at the later end when Chika is drinking up her entire money, drinking liquor, drinking pepper soup, drinking everything drinkable. And then the mother is expecting her to contribute to the household. How? How is that done? When you never supported her doing that. And then Chika was abroad, I was sending you $100. Okay, we understand that Pascal was sick and she needed to spend a lot of money. But there was no way she couldn't have at least supported the father's dialysis with just anything little. But no, the girl, Monica, would bring money for dialysis, and you would still find one way to speak her down. Well, Mama Monica is a witch. There is nothing you can tell me, because tell me why your daughter would do the little she could, and you would still find something mean to speak against her spirit. You had a way to speak down. Even when she stepped away from your house, I was living in a shop. It seems like she didn't have a better bed to sleep in, but Monica's life was still better. It got better. And trust me, I have an award for that Monica's friend. Nobody is saying a lot about that Monica's friend, but I have an award. This is for you. You were there for her when she had every other person speak against her. Her mother, her siblings, they would take advantage of her, but you were there to encourage her. Even when she seemed like she was a mumu, and she would still she seemed to have been she seemed to have a collar around her neck that kept pulling her back to her family. But you were there to speak sanity to Monica. You deserve everything good that Monica gives to you because you have been there for her. Trust me, you have. So the next award I have to give is to Bobo's wife.
Now you they call him a shower. We call him hook up. See him? Hook up.
Why? Why can someone be so annoying? You didn't pack her to her parents' house. You didn't take the grandchild to her parents' house. You allowed her speak down on everyone. Bobo, the mother. In fact, at a point I was wishing she could do more to the mother. At least give the mother a little taste of her medicine. That lady is an insect and she deserves an insecticide because why on earth? It's just painful that that entire movie ended without even a tiny weeny little pinch of suffering falling on her. She should have had a disease. Like, Bobo, you slapped your elder sister. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, Bobo, you don't have a mother. Monica had been your mother from day one because she was the one who sponsored you through school and through marrying this very rude, insolent human being you call a wife. She literally paid for her cesarean section. She gave you money to start your business without even telling her you brought your business to her shop. And then you raise your hand to slap her? How dare you? Who does that? Nobody. Trust me, a million of us wanted to jump into our screen and help beat you up, like beat you blue and black. Because why? And then I am very happy. I know nobody says this or nobody is going to say this, but I'm happy for that slap because it seemed like that slap was like the reset button that reset Monica's head. Because immediately that slap landed, there was toilette on her shop. That was when she woke up, smelled the coffee, and knew that it was time to pick your life and put it back together. So, I have a lot to say, a whole lot to say. Chika got what she deserved, but I expected more karma to catch up with this family. I expected more. I don't mind you bringing a part 3, but I expected more from this. I expected a whole lot from this movie. I expected a lot from the end. Not just them sitting miserably. Of course, I had a very good laugh when they sat miserably. Just at the corner, not even in front, just at the corner of Monica's wedding. I'm so happy. Oh, Lord. I'm not going to end this particular video without mentioning how I almost got food at the end. Why would I think that Monica's mom would have changed? That Sakpa Onga would have made her change? Why? Because just at that very was like, oh, she was like, Bobo, go and bring that pen and paper. Let us write list for my in-law. Hey! You must have all of us for a fool. Because why on earth would you think that you still have Monica under your claws? That's impossible. And I love how she answered, Mama, don't worry. We have seen the elders from my dad's place. And everything on the list has been settled. We just want you to come as a guest. And guess what? She wanted to blackmail Monica. by giving that petty cry. Ah,
So
Monica,
so
your
you want
roommate
make
will
I be
come as a
guest for
guest
your
at your
own
wedding.
wedding?
You should be happy
Money.
that we didn't use this to sweep out every witchcraft from your body. You should be happy. The last award I have is for the producers of this movie. You deserve this. You deserve this. You gave us a good watch. For the number of hours we sat to watch this movie, you deserve this award. Trust me, you really do deserve this award. Thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you on my next video.